Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us this afternoon. My name is Sharon, and by day I'm normally a communications manager at Georgian College, but today I'm your host to help walk you through our business and management programs. So if you're here with us today, you're interested in learning about business and management programs, and we have a great treat for you today. I'm going to turn it over to Chris McBrien, who is no stranger to broadcasting and podcasting. He's a great person to have at Georgian College, and I've been looking forward to this presentation today to hear from Chris. And after Chris's presentation, we will be going into a Q&A session. It is open now. You'll see the Q&A chat box on your screen. You can enter your questions now or throughout the session or throughout Chris's presentation, and we'll get to those questions at the end of the presentation, and we have some other panelists who will join us and help answer those questions. So I'll turn it over to Chris now. Chris, take it away. And don't forget to unmute your mic.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Nice to see everybody here. I'm just trying to open my share tray right now, and it doesn't seem to be working. Having a little bit of trouble accessing my slides that I have, so just trying to figure out how to make this work. Come back to the meeting. Sorry for the apologize for the delay here. Yeah, no, my slide sharing is not working, so I don't. I could just walk through everything and just kind of go from there. I think that's probably the best point at this part, being as we have everybody here, and for whatever reason it's not working. But my name is Chris McBrien. I am a professor in the Business and Management program in the General Business program, and I want to say welcome to everybody for joining us today. It's great to have you. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the programs that we have here. So in the business program, we have quite a variety, and the good thing is that we have a general business program, and it's exactly that. It's general business. You're going to learn a little bit of everything. But then in addition to that, we have some specialty business programs, and we have accounting, there's a marketing program, there's a human resource program, there is a law clerk program, a paralegal program, we have aviation management and business entrepreneurship. And those are all the diploma programs that we have here at Georgian. But in addition to that, we also have 2 degrees, and I'd like to just touch base on them briefly. We have a Bachelor of Business in Management and Leadership. That's a degree. We also have a Bachelor of Business in Health Management. That's also a degree. And then in addition to those, we have what's called a postgraduate certificate. And if you're not aware what that is, a postgraduate certificate is if you're already a graduate of college or university, and you're looking to further your education, we have a 2-year global business management program. So that's kind of an overview of the programs, but let's just kind of dig into them a little bit. So we'll start with some of the specialty programs. So we have an accounting program. If you're interested in accounting, boy, this is the program for you. We've got some great work integrated learning there. There's co-op, there's a tax case competition that they do, and they even have a CPA ambassador program. So if accounting is what is your thing in business, the accounting program is a great option for you to consider. Now, in addition, we have an HR program, human resources. So if you think human resources is something that interests you in business, some great options there. We have a 3-year diploma program, and it's great if that's if what your specialty is dealing with people and human resources. Again, this is a program for you. It's a 3-year program. The first year of it is a little bit general in nature. And then in the second and third year, that's where they really start to specialize into those human resource courses. Now, in addition to that, once you get done, then you're eligible to transfer into university. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Now, in addition to the diploma program in HR, we also have a postgraduate certificate. So just like the postgraduate certificate that I just spoke about, there's one for HR as well. It's a human resource management certificate. And again, you need to be already a graduate of university or college, and then you would come in for 1 year and get your human resource management certificate. And it's one of the most popular programs that we have here in the business department. Now, if marketing is your thing, if you're into marketing, then you and I are going to get along great, because I was a marketer by trade before I started to teach. And we have marketing programs as well at the diploma level. There's a co-op and there's a non-co-op program. They're both 2 years in length. And marketing is going to focus on things like market research, and you're going to be looking at things like planning and sales and digital marketing and things like that. And that's a great option for you as well if marketing is your thing. If you'd like to specialize even further in regard to marketing, we have an advertising and marketing communications program. And that's very, very specialized. And we're really looking at the advertising component of marketing. There, if you're a little bit more into the art that of marketing, the advertising program might be just for you. It's very creative. It's also very demanding, but it's very rewarding and challenging as well. And so that's a great option as well. If you are not quite what it is in business that you want to do, but you want to do something in business, that's where the general business programs really come in. So we have a 2-year and a 3-year general business program that allow you to get a little bit of everything that I just talked about. You'll do a little bit of accounting, a little bit of HR, a little bit of marketing, and kind of put it all together and have a bigger picture. If you're not quite sure what you want to do in business, then general business is definitely an option for you. If you kind of know what you want to do, and if what you want to do is more of a law type paralegal thing, we have a law clerk program and we have a paralegal program. They're very, very specialized to get you work in those industries. Now, in addition to that, something still a business related thing is the aviation management. If aviation is your thing, this is a great program for you to consider, because it's got not only in-depth classroom work that you're going to do, you're going to be really learning about the aviation business end of things. And it's going to give you some real world experience, especially with the co-ops that we have there. If you decide maybe you want to open up your own business, Entrepreneurship is a program that we offer as well. It's a 2-year program, and it's really geared toward those students who want to start up their own business or maybe enter the family business and really understand how to run their own operation as opposed to going to work for someone else. And that's a great program for you. And as I mentioned before, we also have a postgraduate certificate in global business management. So if you're already a graduate of college or of university and you want to learn a little bit more, you want to get further education, the Global Business Management Program is a 2-year postgraduate certificate that will prepare you to work and be a manager in an international type setting of business. And so that's a great option as well. Now, the thing is, regardless of which program that you pick, there's lots of pathways out of the programs and within the programs. One thing I should mention is that our general business program, our accounting program, HR program, and our marketing program all share, and the entrepreneurship program for that matter, all share the same first semester. Well, what does this mean? Why is this any good? This is fantastic because let's say if you come into the general business program, you're not really sure what you want to do. So you start in general business and you realize after your first year, you're kind of like, I think I really like accounting. You can move into the accounting program. Or if after your first semester you decide, I like marketing, you can move into the marketing program. So you would go into the marketing program or the accounting program in the second semester. So, and it works the other way too. Let's say you start and you realize, I don't really think this is for me. Well, then you can move into the general business program and you don't miss a beat. You go right into semester 2. So we've done a lot of thought. We put a lot of things in place to support you in your learning and also to support you in terms of the options that you have. So there's movement within those programs, and that's a great thing. Once you graduate, there's also other pathways. There's other pathways, as we mentioned, into some of the postgraduate certificates. And we also have designed pathways for you to easily move on and go into university. If you're in a diploma program and decide once you graduate, you'd like to go to university, we have pathways for you to consider that as well. Now, one of the pathways that we have is into a university degree program that we have right here at Georgian. And I mentioned it briefly before. It's the Bachelor of Business Administration in Management and Leadership. And we also have one in Health Services. And we have great pathways in place from our diploma programs once you graduate to go into the degree program. So that is something that you certainly want to consider, or just go right into the degree program right from the get-go and get your degree. It's an honors program. So what that means at the university level, it's a 4-year program, but then you're completely set up to then go on if you wanted to maybe get your MBA or something like that, or a master's in some way. The honors program of 4 years sets you up for that. So that's a great option as well. It is a full-time program in the Honors Bachelor of Business Administration, but it's also offered part-time as well. So we're trying to be as flexible as possible in helping you to achieve your degree. There is co-op available in the degree. There is a capstone project that they have. They're really integrated with the change making that is taking place at Georgian, and there's lots of networking opportunities. Want to touch base just briefly on co-op. So all of the business programs have an option of being in co-op or being in non-co-op. If you're not sure, I'd reach out to the program coordinators. I'm going to give you their information in a minute because they can really kind of help you, kind of walk you through that. I strongly suggest that you really consider the co-op as an option. It is a fantastic option because it's going to give you, at least two placements, of 4 months at a time of paid full-time employment. You're going to get program-related work. You're going to have co-op classes to help you with things like interviews, and they're going to do resume workshops with you, and you're going to learn on the job. And the thing is, then you're also going to network while you're on your co-op placement, and you're going to get to know people in the business community locally, and you're going to set yourself up for opportunities once you graduate to kind of go on. So it's great experience and great networking as well. In addition to the in-class curriculum and the co-op and all the other pathways I've talked about, we like to do some extra events around here in the business program to really help you out. We have a business networking night that we run every year. We're actually considering going to twice a year to allow you to meet some and actually network with them and talk to them. We have a speed networking event that we run as well. We have our advisory committees come in, and we have nights with them where you can meet these local leaders. The marketing program has an Ontario College Marketing Championship program that you can be a part of, and there's job fairs going on all the time. So it's not just in the classroom that you're going to be successful in business, and it's not just in the classroom that you're going to be successful in your career, and we know that. And that's why we give you all these other opportunities to do all these wonderful things. Probably one of the biggest questions you're going to have is why Georgian College? Why would I come to Georgian? Well, Georgian College is the #1 co-op college in the country, and we're very proud of that. And we have connections with, over 2,500 businesses that we can kind of connect you with and get you those co-op placements. We have obviously great dedicated faculty who have experience in their field, and they bring that into the classroom. And we make sure to limit classes to 50 people or less. We want to get those classes down. We want to make sure that you interact with your faculty, that you get to know your faculty, and you get to draw on their experience. And we have all kinds of articulation agreements with universities in place and the degree programs here. And these are all great opportunities for you, and some of the reasons why you might want to consider joining Georgian College. In addition to that, we're going to support you in a number of other ways. Georgian College offers you peer tutors, there's peer mentors, there's student advisors. There's a writing center in the library to help you work on those papers and those assignments that you need to do to make sure that you're writing them in a proper and format. Our faculty are always there to help out, and there's lots of counseling. And I would say, regardless of where you go to college, whether it's Georgian or wherever you decide to go, get to know your program coordinator. Your program coordinator can be a really, really great asset for you as you go through, your college career. And what I would suggest is today, Georgian will cover the cost of the Ontario College application, the OCAS fee of $95. Georgian will pay that if you do it today. All right, so that's something you want to think about, and you will apply for free today. One thing I would like to mention is that we will reach out to you next week and provide you actually with opportunities to chat one-on-one with your program coordinator. So make sure you check your email for that. What I'd like to do now, if I could, is open up the floor to any questions. I'm going to come back into the Teams program here, and I'm sure there are lots of questions out there, and I would like to see if anybody has them. Go ahead.
All right, I will take us through some of the questions. And Chris, thanks very much. I think I enjoyed that more without the slides, actually. I love hearing you talk about your programs, and it always makes me want to go back to school and take marketing and communications again. I'm ready to go. So thanks for that. We have a lot of questions already rolling in, and the first one I'm going to take is from Janet, who is already enrolled in the HR management program, for January. And Janet is just wondering when the book list will be released and where would they be able to find it? Do you have an answer to that question?
Yeah, I think actually Heather will take that question.
Perfect. Over to Heather then, please.
Great. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Hi, Janet. Thanks so much for the great question. We are just finalizing the winter book list currently, and that should be finalized by the end of next week. If you would like to send me an email, heather.tilley, Tilley, at georgiancollege.ca, I would be happy to send that list to you. Thanks so much, and looking forward to meeting you, Janet. Welcome to the program.
Great. Thanks so much, Heather. We have a question about the marketing program here. For the marketing co-op program, what marks do I need to get accepted, and how competitive is entry? And if the panelist who wants to take that question can just sort of raise their hand, then we'll know who to turn the camera on to turn you live. So just let me know who's going to take that question about the marketing program. Okay, back to Chris.
Yeah, I can take that question.
Great.
Absolutely. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a 60% minimum in your high school in grade 12 in order to get into the program. And one of the things that we're looking for is actually grade 12 English, but you only need to have grade 11 math. So just keep that in mind. The thing that I would recommend is, I think it's important that I just point out the difference here. The reason why we're looking for a grade 12 English is because marketing is really about communication. And one of the key things in business is communication is so key. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind. In regard to, sorry, the second half of the question was, is how competitive is it to get into the program? Is that correct?
What marks do I need to get accepted, and how competitive is entry?
So entry is, it's competitive, but I mean, the thing is that it's, we do take a look at things other than just marks. So if you have those minimum marks to get in, you're going to qualify to get in, but we're also going to take a look at some other things as well. Things that you've done outside of the curriculum that is important as well. So it is competitive, but we're always looking. So as of right now, there are seats available. So if you're on the fence and if you're not sure, I would say make sure that you apply, and you should have a pretty decent chance of getting in. So all good.
Great. Always good to apply and apply first and see where that takes you. So Emily was wondering which business programs are available strictly online as they can't attend class in person right now. So what classes or what programs could they look at strictly online? Who'd like to take that one? Anyone? Back to Chris.
Yeah, I'll take that question. So for the most part, what I'll do is I'll speak to the general business program for right now, and then we'll talk more generally. So we have made it a real priority in the business programs to try to make sure that we have lots of flexibility, and how that looks is offering as many of our courses as possible online. In the general business program, we are dedicated to offering online options for all of our courses. So I cannot speak to some of the other programs, such as the law clerk program, paralegal program. I'll let Shane speak to that. But for the general business program, and even for a lot of the HR and the accounting programs, we are doing everything possible to offer online courses right across the board.
Shane, you're muted at the moment.
Thanks.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Mouth was faster than the finger, sorry. Pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. The paralegal program at the moment is being offered remote in conjunction with working things out with the Law Society in terms of how it can be offered on that basis. However, it will go back into the classroom once the current situation we're in has changed. The law clerk program is being offered online, and we are looking at which courses in that program can remain online, although there are some that involve a lab, and so there could be a hybrid situation where some are online and some will be a combination of online and in the lab.
Okay, great. Thanks for jumping in there, Shane, as well. And yeah, panelists, if you want to jump in at all and you want to add to any answer, please feel free, because I'm sure it'll be helpful to the folks who are joining us today. Tyson has an interesting question. I don't know, Shane, if this is back to you again, but how important is typing speed for the law clerk program? They notice there's a keyboarding course. I'm a big fan of taking keyboarding because that's helped me for my whole career, but over to you, Shane.
Okay. So in the law clerk program, obviously we're working with documents and completing forms. So typing, keyboard skills are very important. There is a course that will work with you. I don't think anyone's expected to come in with a solid knowledge or a certain level, but that course will work with you, and there are certain speeds, test opportunities to get up to a certain speed over the course during that term.
That's great. As I said, I'm a big fan, and it is incredibly important and helpful and undervalued, I think, by many. We have a question here regarding human resources management program. They're wondering if the prerequisite degrees or diplomas have to be in a related field. I do not think it specifies online, and I currently have science-related degrees and diplomas. Can someone tackle that? And I'm happy to just go over it again.
That's great.
Okay,
yes,
Heather?
thank you for that. Thank you very much, Sharon. Thank you for that great question. The prerequisite is that you have to have a completed degree or diploma. The HRMN program, or the post-grad program, is so fabulous because of the diversity within the program. So students in the program have science degrees, they have sociology degrees, they have social work diplomas. So as long as your degree or diploma is completed, please apply to the program. Diversity is key, and we'd be happy to have you in the program. Thanks for the great question.
Excellent. Thank you for the great answer. We have another one here. Since I'm already a college and university graduate who did studies in education and is now interested in aviation management, does it mean I would have to do a postgraduate program, or what would you suggest? Who can take that one? Anyone? Chris, over to you.
All right, I'll speak to it briefly. I'm not, intimately aware of the program as much as I could be, but here's the way I would answer that question if I was giving you advice as a coordinator. We currently do not have a postgraduate certificate in aviation management, and nor am I aware of one anywhere, because there's so much that's involved in that program. It really does take an undergraduate level approach to be able to get to everything. So even if you have completed your undergraduate elsewhere, if aviation management is something that you're interested in, I would recommend taking the diploma level program. And we do offer that here at Georgian, obviously.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chris. I know that's not necessarily your program, but appreciate the advice. Here's an interesting one that I'm sure, Chris, you touched on this in your presentation. I'm sure lots have this question. Hearing that maybe it's good to start in general and then switch to a specialty program after that. What do you think about that as someone who maybe doesn't know exactly what they want to specialize in right out of the gate today?
Okay, well, I can speak to that briefly. Absolutely. So that the whole point of the first semester that we've tried to make it diverse is so that it'll allow you that opportunity to come into the general business program and kind of find your way. So you're going to take in the first semester, you're going to take accounting, you're going to take marketing, you're going to take an organizational behavior, a human resource type course. So it's going to allow you a little bit of everything. So then at that point, if you decide that you want to specialize and go into the accounting program or the marketing program or the HR program, you absolutely do that into your second semester, no problem. Or you just stay in the general business program. Many students do, because you're going to continue to get a lot of everything. So like I would say, it's very, very flexible. So if you're not sure exactly what you want to do, but business is your thing, start in the general business program and then find your way, or stay in the program right through to completion. And like I say, one thing I will mention, because it is important to keep in mind, it works the other way as well. And that's the beauty of the flexibility that we have between the programs, is that if you start in accounting, let's say, not to pick on accounting, but let's say if you started in accounting and let's say you didn't really like it, you didn't feel it was your thing, don't worry about it. Come into the general business program. You can just come. So the pathways are there for you to find your way. And we know that, and we've designed the programs to do that. So great question.
Okay, thanks very much, Chris. And great segue into the next question, which is actually someone who's interested in the accounting and possibly bookkeeping. Would you please tell them about that? So who could talk about accounting and bookkeeping programs and courses? Can anyone give an overview?
I can speak to
Chris
it briefly.
is going to give an overview.
Yeah, no problem. I can speak to it briefly. So the accounting program is quite flexible as well. It's going to give you a little bit of everything that you're going to need. It's also going to set you up if you want to go on to get your CPA as well. It's going to be further. It is a 3-year program, and I will say this: the first semester again is completely flexible, and it's aligned with our other business programs. But starting in semester 2, you start to specialize real quick in that program. So semester 2 is almost entirely accounting courses, and then so on and so forth. So it's a little bit more difficult after the second semester if you decide to switch out and go back into general business. As a coordinator, I can certainly help you with that, and we can work with you. But the accounting program specializes pretty quick after that first semester. So the good news there is that you are getting a lot of accounting courses, over the course of your time there. So you're going to cover a lot of different aspects of accounting. And it's a great program. If bookkeeping is more of your thing and not the accounting end of things, we offer a program for bookkeeping as well. And there is flexibility between those two. So let's say you started in accounting and you thought, this is a little bit heavy duty for me. I think bookkeeping is a little bit more, the way I want to go, not a full chartered accountant type thing. There is flexibility into that program as well. So again, it's all about options. We're trying our best to give you those options.
That's great, Chris. Thank you. I think that's really helpful information. And I don't think we have someone specifically with the aviation program with us right now, so I might be back to you, Chris. But this person is interested in the aviation program and is looking to work for an airline or at an airport. They came across our aviation management program, so great work finding that on our website. And they're just wondering what careers relating to the aviation management program can they get after graduation? And what co-op jobs would they do related to that program? What co-op? And I know we have a great relationship with Jazz. So Chris, over to you to maybe talk a bit about careers for aviation and our co-ops.
Yeah, I think if you're looking to work at whether it's an airline or for an airport, then the aviation management program is for you. It's definitely focuses on the management aspect. You're not gonna. It's not the piloting, obviously. It's more the management, the business end of the airport. Working the business end of an airline and that sort of thing. And really, what I would suggest is if you get into that program, use your co-ops to help find your way. Like try to get 2 diverse co-op placements. Try to get one maybe with an airline, and then try to maybe get one with maybe a local airport. See both ends of the spectrum in that industry, and figure out which career is best for you. But I would definitely suggest using the co-op to help you really find your way in that program. But it's a great option, and Derek Todd is the coordinator. And he'll be reaching out to you next week, or we're going to reach out to you next week and give you the list of who the coordinators are. Reach out to Derek directly. He's a great guy, and he can really kind of add more to this, add more to your questions that you have. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. And if you follow us on our social media accounts, we actually just did a People of Georgian profile on one of our aviation management grads, and they couldn't have imagined where their learning would have taken them, and then they ended up working in a local airport planning COVID-related health and security plans. So great opportunity post-graduation for that person. So look on our social media channels and you can see that great story. So another question here, is the 2 or 3 year business diploma available online, and they mean even regardless of COVID happening? Would that be something that could be taken online even outside of the COVID situation right now? Who can answer that? Over to Heather.
Great. I can speak to the BAHR program, so the 3-year business program in human resources. So all courses in the BAHR program are offered online through Ontario Learn. So even when the pandemic is finished, there is still the option of you taking the courses completely online through Ontario Learn. Thank you for the question.
Great. Thanks very much, Heather. We have a question here from Jonathan, who says they're in the BUSN and interested in co-op. Are they able to transfer into BUSG after starting BUSN?
Great question. So the easy answer is yes. The one thing that you're going to need to do, though, is just be aware and just, I would say, reach out to your coordinator to talk about this early. Before you're eligible to go on your co-op placement, you do have to take what's called co-op hour. And it is basically a 1 hour class that you'll take. Usually you would take it in your first semester, but if you make it through first semester and you're still not sure, we can get you into it into the second semester. We can try and be as flexible as possible, but it's important that you take that co-op hour before, because it's going to, in addition to giving you interview skills, help with your resume, it's going to give you access to Georgian Connects, which is sort of the online portal where all the co-op jobs are. And to be able to navigate that software, it's really important that you take that co-op hour class. Like I say, it's only an hour long, and I mean, and it runs for, I think, 7 weeks, half the semester, an hour per time. And so we do need to get you into that co-op hour class prior to being able to go into the co-op placement. But if you're in the non-co-op program and you want to go into the co-op program, have a conversation with your coordinator. We will do everything we can to work with you to make that happen. We want to see you be successful. And one of the most important ways we can help you be successful is to connect you with local employers and get you those placements. So reach out to your coordinator and we'll make it work.
Great. Thank you, Chris. We have a question here from Stephanie, wondering, for global business management, do we require general knowledge for each class? For example, I graduated with my BCom in 2013, so I'm a bit rusty with many concepts. What advice would you have for Stephanie? Is that Kelly? Okay, over to Kelly. Good to see you, Kelly.
Question, and I teach in the Global Business Management program. It's a phenomenal postgraduate program, and you don't need to have any specialized knowledge coming in. As long as you have your college diploma or university degree, you can enter the program, and it's self-contained. So we meet you where you're at and we get you on your way. So don't feel any pressure to have any specialized knowledge coming in. If you qualify for the program, then we'll get you started.
That's great, Kelly. Thanks, and very helpful, I'm sure. We have a really good question here about aviation management again. Obviously, the industry has been impacted by COVID. How is the program curriculum adjusting? And again, I know we don't have someone specifically for that program here, but is that something someone can speak to?
What I'd like to do is I'd like to ask if you are interested to reach out to Derek Todd specifically. And I'm just gonna just give me 1 second and I'll look up the spelling of the Derek and I'll get you his email address. And I would ask you to just email him directly, because that is a very specific question. And I would just be sort of speculating at the answer on that. I could take a pretty good guess, but I don't want to give you any incorrect information. So if you just move on to the next question, I'm just going to look up Derek's email and then I'll provide that information in a second. Is that fine?
That's perfect. Thank you. Thanks for that help, Chris. We have a question here from Megan. Will co-op be available next year, COVID or not? Does anyone want to speak to what co-op looks like and how that's working with or without any COVID adjustments? Does anyone feel they can address that? I know we don't have any co-op consultants on the phone. Oh, Chris is jumping back in again. Don't forget to unmute, Chris.
Okay, so I'll speak to that a little bit. But first of all, if you'd like to reach out to Derek Todd, it's DERRICK.TODD@georgiancollege.ca. So again, DERRICK.Todd, 2 Ds. Sorry, the question was co-op placements around COVID. So interestingly enough, we just had a business networking night, and one of the panelists that we had on there was in the digital marketing space, and we had that conversation. We were like, what's going to happen with co-op placements now with COVID. But the thing is that industries are adapting as best that they can to try to do things remotely as much as possible. And as a result, they're trying to do the same thing when it comes to, any co-op placements that they have. So if they're continuing to do business, they're just doing it in a bit of a different way. So by the same token, they still need co-op students. They just might need them in a different way. So that isn't to say that you wouldn't be able to get a co-op placement somewhere directly that you'd have to physically go into, but just be prepared for the fact that you might be doing a remote co-op. And what better way to prepare you for a career in a post-COVID world than by taking a co-op in that space? So the college and the co-op programs are adapting sort of in tandem with the way industries are adapting to the way that they do business. So we are working very closely with the businesses that we're connected with, and we're doing everything we can to align our students to be prepared for that type of world. And we're as nimble as possible, and we're always changing. But you could be prepared to still do a co-op from a remote kind of setting. Does that help? Does that help somewhat, Sharon?
Sorry about that. I had a little difficulty getting off mute there, but I thought that was very helpful and absolutely true. We're seeing that students going through this period of adjustment, as we all are with COVID continuing, that it is absolutely creating a resilient group of students and then graduates who are going to be able to adjust to the new reality, and that's exactly what businesses are going to need going forward. So great point there. We have someone who's interested in online or night courses. Are there options for that? I think there's a lot of online right now, but generally, with or without COVID, what advice would you give to someone looking at online, or they need to only study in the evenings?
Okay, so I'll just speak to the general business program at this point, but we've worked very closely with part-time studies. And I've been working closely with them for years to try to make sure that the courses that we offer are aligned with part-time studies, so that those courses are available online in the evenings, and trying to be as flexible as possible. So from a general business point of view, I would say that yes, we are able to provide them in the evenings, and we will continue to offer more and more.
Okay.
If I could just address, the law clerk program has a part-time component as well. So those who are interested in that possibility with the law clerk program, they would want to check out the part-time availability too.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. We're getting down to the wire here in some of the questions. What are the differences between the law clerk and the paralegal program?
That's an excellent question. I'm glad that you've raised that one. So the law clerk program is a 2-year program, and what a law clerk ultimately does is work under the supervision of a lawyer or a licensee or a paralegal. And so the courses that we provide you with begin general, then move into specific areas of law, such as legal research and family law, real estate, corporate, estate work. And so over the course of the 2-year program, you're brought into a number of different legal areas to get a background to draw on in both the software as well as the issues that would be involved with acting as a law clerk and working with a lawyer or a paralegal to provide legal services. A paralegal, we offer a postgraduate program. It's a 1-year program, and a paralegal, once they've completed our program, goes on to write the licensing exam for the Law Society. And once a paralegal is licensed by the Law Society, they're able to open up their own practice so that they can offer their services directly to the public, or sometimes they'll move in with a law firm and they'll work in tandem with a lawyer. A paralegal's area of work is related more to things such as small claims court work, landlord-tenant or tribunal type work, lower court provincial offenses. But you have that opportunity to go out and set up your own practice and offer your services directly to the public, whereas the law clerk will work under supervision of a lawyer. A number of people who take our law clerk program continue on to do the paralegal program because it's given them a grounding in the vocabulary and an understanding of the law, and they found that it was challenging enough and interesting enough they wanted to go on. And so with the law clerk program certificate under a diploma under your belt, you've got a number of tools that you can offer to a law firm where if you combine that with the paralegal, you've got the ability to work as a law clerk with a firm handling real estate transactions, putting corporations together, but then also working directly with clients to, say, go to small claims court with them or a tribunal.
Okay, that's fantastic. I learned something there. Thanks, Shane. We're hearing from Tia, who is already a college and university graduate, but did studies in education and is now particularly interested in their first love career in aviation management. I think we've already touched on this one, but Chris, do you just want to reiterate, would they have to do a postgraduate program for that course? What would you suggest that they do?
So currently we do not offer a postgraduate aviation management. It is an undergraduate diploma. So I would suggest if that is your true love, and it's a good one to have, absolutely, I would strongly consider that you would take the undergraduate diploma program.
Great. And I'm sure this is back to you, Chris, but Janet is wondering, so they know they have to do a co-op placement for the program, but wondering, do they have to find the business themselves, or are there options for them to choose from when they're looking for a co-op? How does that work?
So that's a great question. And I mean, ultimately, it is up to the student to find a co-op placement. But let me tell you, we have lots of help for you. So we have 2 co-op consultants that work primarily with the business program. One is external, so that co-op consultant works with businesses, working with trying to get placements, posted up. And another one of the co-op consultants works internally with the students to help those students, and to navigate, how to get those placements. And the thing to keep in mind is that there is the co-op hour that I mentioned as well that helps students figure out kind of how to make that work. But I will say this, over the last year and a half, I would say the vast majority of semesters, there are more co-op postings than there are students. So there should be no lack of finding a co-op. And if you are actively looking to find a co-op, you will find one. Now, that being said, you do not just have to use the ones that we post here at the college. If you had your own connections, let's say I was to come into the program and say, well, my uncle has a business, can I do my co-op with him? Absolutely, we'll sit down and talk to you about that. There's some paperwork and things that needs to be done, but the co-op consultants are very flexible. If you have your own ideas of things you'd like to do, then talk to your coordinator and talk to your co-op consultant, and we have lots of ways to happen.
That's great advice, Chris. Thank you. I think we're getting down to our last question. We have someone who's interested in branching off to university after college. So would they be able to branch off to a marketing management degree in university with a marketing degree from Georgian College? What would you say to them?
So they would be getting their undergraduate marketing diploma here at Georgian, but then they would. So then the question is then if they wanted to go on to university. So at that point, you basically have sort of 2 options. You can get done your diploma and then just basically go and apply to a university somewhere to take the marketing degree and see what they'll do for you in terms of admissions. But here's what I would recommend is talk to your coordinator of the marketing program, and her name is Debbie Kilfoyle. And because we already have articulation agreements in place with universities out of all of our programs, including the marketing program. So for example, instead of you having to do all the work and contact those universities and figure out, maybe what exemptions they might give you because of your college, we've already done that with our articulation agreements. You're basically told, what the grade point average is you need to get in, and you know exactly what kind of exemptions you're going to get going in. So take advantage of those articulation agreements, and you can reach out to your program coordinator and they'll help put you in touch with where those are on our website. And there are lots of opportunities to leave the program and go on to university. And we're adding new ones all the time. So lots of options to do that. Great.
May I also just say that if you're interested after finishing your diploma and what you're looking for is a degree, you can continue on at Georgian and you can trade up your diploma, move right into the Honors Bachelor of Business Administration in Management and Leadership degree. And we make that pretty seamless for you. So that's something to keep in mind.
Perfect. Thank you for adding that, Kelly. And I'll just mention quickly, because I do see a last question here, and we do have to sign off. But before we do, when we have students who are in grade 12 and they might still have English or math in a second semester, still apply. You may get a conditional acceptance, but you should still apply and you know, try and get into your program, and they'll help you once you have your application in to get all of those marks in, because no one expects a grade 12 student right now to have everything in order, but you want to apply now to maybe attend in fall 2021. So definitely take advantage of applying for free today, as Chris mentioned. And also, as Chris mentioned, we will have other communication going out to you about other sessions that you might be able to attend, or as Chris mentioned, the coordinators' names so that you can reach out and contact them. And thanks again for joining us today.